So thank you very much for joining us today in this webinar dedicated to Node.js. So over the next hour, we will be diving deep into the world of Node.js. Yes, first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Roman. I am a senior web developer in Agiliway company, and I have been working in this company for about 8 years. Yeah, and today I would like to share my experience with you and tell you how we use Node.js on our projects and when you can use Node.js the most efficient. And as you can see on this slide, my topic today is integrating Node.js with existing business system and database. So let's break down what you can expect from today's session. So my presentation structures follow. First of all, it is introduction to Node.js. We will kick things off with what is Node.js, why is it so popular in the world of web development, and we'll try to explain the Node.js architecture in simple words. After that, I would like to talk with you regarding Node.js architecture. A brief overview architecture and why Node.js architecture is important in building efficient and scalable application. The third point is the challenges in integrating Node.js. Yeah, Node.js is a powerful tool, but using potential requires strategy. Yeah, we will review the best practice and the challenges for easy integrating Node.js into your projects. I guess this part of our presentation will be interesting for you. Yeah, and you can avoid a lot of problem during the integration. The next, we will focus on why Node.js for integration. In this section, we will consider why we should choose Node.js for our project, why it is better than other platform. We will determine which advantages of Node.js we can use for integration. Next one is real-world examples. Theory is the great, but real-world applications are even better. Yeah, we will showcase some compelling example for how Node.js has been used in various industries and projects. These case studies we will illustrate the diverse range of the possibility that Node.js offers. I guess this part of presentation will be interesting for you as well, because you will see the real examples and you can implement it. And I will try to explain this example by simple words. And maybe you will use one of them in your projects. Yeah. Next one is serverless Node.js. You will hear what are the benefits of serverless, or when do you need to use serverless. Yes, I guess it will be interesting for you as well, because serverless is very popular in the web industry, yeah, and you can implement it as well. Or maybe you are using serverless and it will be easier to you understand how to implement Node.js in your projects. And finally, if you don't mind, we will have the QA session at the end of our talk. Yeah, and I will answer for your questions. So there you have it, the roadmap for our journey through the world of Node.js. By the end of the webinar, I hope you will leave with the deeper understanding of Node.js, its advantages, and the clear vision of how it is to enhance your projects. So let's get started with our first topic, introduction to Node.js. Since we will talking a lot about the Node.js, we need to understand what Node.js and how it works. So first of all, what is Node.js? Node.js is the open source server-side JavaScript runtime environment that allows you to run JavaScript code outside of web browser. In simple words, it's like the tools that let you use JavaScript to create and run server-side application. It's popular because it's fast and efficient, makes it great choice to build the web server and other backend application. So I guess let's look at the Node.js architecture in order to better understand what is it. So Node.js consists of two parts. The first part is the V8, and the second part is libuv. Okay, V8 is the JavaScript engine. Node.js is built on top of V8 JavaScript engine, which is developed by Google. V8 is high-performance JavaScript runtime that compiles JavaScript code into the machine code for faster execution. Second part, it's libuv. Node.js runs JavaScript code in the single threads, which means that your code can only do one task at a time. But Node.js uses libuv. libuv is a software library that provides the fundamental building block for asynchronous input-output operations. Therefore, Node.js itself is multi-threaded and provides the hidden threads through the libuv library, which handle input-output operation simultaneously. I know it's complicated. Therefore, let's take a look at the example of coffee shop. In the coffee shop, there are cashier. And cashier take order from the customers. And head chief takes the order from the cashier. After that, head chief delegates tasks to the baristas, and baristas making the orders. In our examples, V8 is cashier. He takes the order from the customers and provides the orders to head chief. As you can see on slide, it is the structure of libuv. Main chief is the event queue and event loop. You can imagine that V takes all time some orders from the cashier, and after that, main chief should delegate their orders to workers, and each workers can parse each task and return back the response from them. Yeah, I know it's a little bit difficult, but we should understand it in order to get the advantages of Node.js, in order to understand how it works. So I'd like to explain it by the simple words. Yeah, because obviously we can provide them more threads if we use the processor with multi-cores. Obviously, I can explain you that C++, I mean the kernel, provides the multi-threads for us, but it's a little bit difficult. I would like to explain by simple words for you. So, moreover, Node.js uses the modular system that allows you to organize your code into reusable and encapsulated units I mean, the common JS is the modular system used in Node.js and provides such functionality for you. So let's review the potential issues that you can face while integrating. First of all, it's dependency management. While NPM is the robust tools, managing dependency and ensuring compatibility can be challenging for you. Yeah, it's essentially establish the clear dependency management, but I can say the practice and avoid the issue with the module version and the conflicts. Yeah, therefore it can be the challenge for you. Next one is error handling. You should pay attention on this point because it's very important during developing and using Node.js in the project. Yeah, due to Node.js is asynchronous, error handling can be complex. Unhandled error can crash the entire application. Correct error handling practice such as using the try catch block and the handling unhandled promise rejection are important. Yeah, my advice is please pay attention on this point because it's really important. You should cover all code. You should get each error from your application. Next one is debugging. Debugging asynchronous code in Node.js can be more challenging than the traditional, I mean the synchronous environment. Developers must be proficient in using the debugging tools like the built-in Node.js debugger. Also, you can use another debugger such as Visual Studio Code's debugging feature, so on. You can use some extensions of Visual Studio. Yeah, we have been using the different extensions in our projects, and it helps us catch some error. It is very important as well because you will save your time and it will make your development easier. Yeah, therefore it is important as well. And the last one is compatibility. If you are integrating Node.js in the existing technology stack with the legacy code, compatibility issue may arise. Yeah, you may need to refactor existing code to work with Node.js. Therefore, my advice is please review your existing code. Please upgrade it. You should make the refactoring of already existing code in order to get rid legacy code. Yes, because you will face with the problem on this project when you will try to integrate Node.js in the project. Yeah. Therefore, yeah, this one is important things as well. So, which benefits of Node.js we can use for integration? Let's figure out them together. As we talked before, Node.js is building on top of the V8. Yes, V8 is a high-performance JavaScript runtime that compiles JavaScript code into the machine code for the faster execution. And Node.js takes the advantage of V8 speed and optimization to run JavaScript code on the server. Therefore, we can take from this point speed and optimization. Yes, V8 provides it for us, and we can use it in our project. Next one is event loop. Node.js is known for its non-blocking event-driven architecture. At its core, Node.js operates using the event loop. The event loop continuously checks for events such as incoming network requests, file system operations, and the timers. And it's processes these events asynchronously. This allows Node.js to handle the large number of concurrency connections efficiently. Therefore, from this point, we will handle a large number of concurrent connections. Yes, it will be useful in our projects. Third point is single-threaded model. Node.js uses a single-threaded events loop to manage all input-output operation. This single-threaded model is essentially for handling the large number of simultaneous connections without the overhead of creating a separate thread for each request. Instead of blocking on input-output operations, Node.js delegates them to the events loop and continuously processing other tasks. As we talked before, yeah, maybe you remember, head chief delegates tasks to workers, and then workers return response, he can take another task. Yes, and therefore we will take simultaneous connection without creating this separate thread. Next one is non-blocking input-output. Node.js relies heavily on non-blocking input-output operations. When the function is called to perform an input-output task, it doesn't block the event loop. Instead, it registers a callback function to be executed once the input-output operation is incomplete. This allows Node.js to efficiently manage multiple input-output operations without waiting for each of the finish. So we will allow Node.js to efficiently manage multiple input-output operations. Modulus. As we talked, Node.js uses the modulus system that allows you to organize your code into reusable units, yeah? And you can create your own modulus to use the built-in module provided by Node.js. Yes, it can make your project structure more understandable, more clear, and it will save your time because you can use already existed modulus. Yeah, and therefore it is important as well. It's important for developer. Obviously, yes, it will create your project better. Next one is the Node Package Manager. NPM is the default package manager for Node.js, which allows you to install, manage, and share 30-part libraries and modules easily. It provides access to ecosystem of open source packages that can extend the functionality of your Node.js application. As we talked about the previous point, yes, it can save your time because you can use already existed package, and this package can provide for you the all functionality that you need for your code, for your projects. Therefore, we can take such advantage, access to a vast ecosystem of open source packages. It will be very useful. And the last one is the libraries and frameworks. Node.js has a rich ecosystem of libraries and frameworks that simplify common tasks and provide the abstraction for building the web server or real-time application. Express.js, for example, is a popular web framework for building web application on top of Node.js. We will talk about Express.js in several minutes again. Yeah, and I will describe it better. So we can take such advantages for our projects, for our we can use them during integration. That should keep in mind. It's very important for us. So there are a lot of cases of using Node.js or on the real existing projects, such as RESTful API integration, database integration, authorization, message queues, three-party API integration, WebSocket integration, so on. A lot of cases how we can use Node.js. We will look through the most popular of them, and I will try to describe as soon as possible. So first case is RESTful API integration. REST API is the application programming interface that allows specific and guidelines, and Node.js is the popular runtime environment for execution JavaScript code on the server side, and Node.js allows developer to use JavaScript on both, on the clients and the server side. Yeah, and using Node.js to build the REST API offers benefits such as efficient handling of asynchronous operations. It can be scalability and the rich ecosystem of packages. Yeah, therefore, yeah, it's very useful that developer can use the same language on the front end and back end. Yes, and it will be the easier for developer to figure out if there is some problem on front end or back end. Let's take a look at some of the top Node.js REST API framework. As we talked before, Express. Yes, it's the most commonly used as a router to create the single page application, multi-page, and the hybrid applications. It may be the most popular framework. Yeah, and we used Express in our projects as well. Next one is the Serverless. Serverless enables JavaScript developer to control data through RESTful resources, meaning they don't need external data store or, I don't know, database for it. Developer can also create the REST APIs with further commands. It will be even the easier. So it's easier to enable your web app to communicate with the third-party application and service like the Twilio or Stripe, I don't know, for example. You can also integrate the Serverless into the various JavaScript framework. Next one is Loopback. It's a Node.js framework that can be used by JavaScript developers and the business to build on top of the service with the TypoScript packages. Nest.js. Nest.js is the framework for building the modern, maybe we can say modern Node.js application with the high performance architecture that can take advantage of the latest JavaScript features by using the TypeScript, yeah, and the functional programming principle and reactive programming. We are using Nest.js in our project as well. Yeah, it's very easy to use it. There are a lot of documentation and examples how to use Nest.js by right way. Yeah. Last one is Molecular. It's the Node.js framework that helps you to build out the microservice quickly and efficiently, we can say. Yeah, it's also giving you tools for fast recovery in the event and failures. Yeah, because it's very good for the small projects than if you want to set up the project very quickly. So it is the most popular framework, and I guess you will work with one of them. And I guess there are documentation, deep documentation, and there are a lot of information how to use those frameworks. Second case is database integration. In Node.js, you can retrieve data from the several databases using different methods and the packages depending on the type of database you are working with. It can be SQL, NoSQL, so on. And Node.js can connect to various databases. MySQL, MongoDB, Postgres, I don't know. Yes, and not just using the library like the Sequelize, Mongoose, so on. And there are a lot of different libraries for it. And or you can use the native database drivers. And you can read, write, and manipulate data in the database. Yeah. Node.js allows you to add, modify, or remove individual database without affecting other database. This is useful to use for already existed projects. I mean, if you would like to add one more database and you would like to synchronize the old database with the new database, or you would like to migrate data from one database to another database, yeah, it's very easy. Obviously, you can create some small projects for migration, yeah, and Node.js is very good for this approach, for this situation that you would like to migrate data. Okay, third case, it is the third-party API integration. Node.js is excellent for integrating with the external service and APIs. You can use the libraries like the Axios or the native fetch APIs to make the HTTP request and retrieve the data from the third-party services. Yeah, we can create the excellent backend for the front end. The main goal of it is to get the data from the third-party APIs, and after that, process them and provide the data to the front end side. It's a very popular approach for the projects. Yeah, since one of the APIs can throw the error, we should predict it and provide the possibility to get data several times. There are a lot of solutions for it. For instance, first solution is set up Axios Retry. This package intercepts failed requests and retrieves them whenever possible. Yes, and we can avoid the error, yeah, because we can try to send requests several times while we get the correct answer. Second solution is to use the quiz. I mean, for example, AWS SQS, that letter quiz. It even the better because you can see the all logs. You can figure out why it didn't work before and what the problem is. Yeah, we use such case in our project as well because Node.js is very good for it. So let's review the other examples of integrating Node.js. It is authorization. Implementing using authorization with Node.js can be crucial when integrating with business system. You can use the libraries like the Passport.js for this purpose. Yeah, I guess the Passport.js is the most popular for it, but there are a lot of different packages for it as well. Therefore, a lot of developers use Node.js for authorization. Next one is the message queue. If you need to exchange message or task between the different parts of your system or with the external system, Node.js can connect to message queues like the RabbitMQ, for example, or Apache Kafka. I don't know, a lot of different tools and services. Yeah, and a lot of developers use such approach as well, and using for integrating Node.js. Next one is WebSocket integration. For real-time communication between your application and external system, WebSocket library like the Socket.io can be used. I guess Socket.io is the most popular for it. This is useful for chat application, I don't know, live updates, so on. We use it, Socket.io, in our projects to communicate between two applications. Yes, and we set up two applications, and we had to get data from one application, and it worked very well. Socket.io is good for it. Next one is scheduled tasks. Node.js can be used to create scheduled tasks that perform the various operations such as data synchronization between the system or sending automated reports. Yeah, but therefore a lot of companies use such approach. Last one is the GraphQL APIs. Node.js can also be used to create the GraphQL APIs, which provides more flexible in data querying and aggregates data from the multiple sources. Yeah, I guess, yeah. When integrating Node.js with existing system and database, it's crucial to consider security, error handling, and the scalability. Therefore, you should pay attention on it. Yes, and you should keep in mind that the handling error and security is very important. So, next one is serverless. Is where Node.js programmer can develop and run application without managing and setting the physical server and the infrastructure. Yeah, integrating Node.js in the serverless architecture is the common practice, and the Node.js is the popular choice for the serverless application due to its asynchronous and its ability to handle a large number of concurrent connections. For serverless application, a piece of code, usually a Lambda function, yeah. From my experience, there is a good package to run projects on the Lambda. It's the AWS Serverless Express. Yeah, we used this package in our projects. It's helped to run the web application using your existing Node.js application framework on AWS Lambda. And yeah, and I guess it works rather like the proxy. And for instance, we could set up Nest.js projects in the serverless, and we used all advantages of Nest.js, such as decorators, in our projects. It's very, very useful. So I'd like to say that when you don't need to use Node.js, Node.js is not very good for parsing a huge files. I mean, when you try to parse videos or huge photos, so on. I mean, when you are waiting for the response for the long time. It's not a good and the Node.js is not a good platform for it. I guess you should looking for the another platform for it. So that's it. I tried to tell you very quickly and by simple words. And so if you have some questions, feel free to ask. So are there any complaints or the issues that need to be addressed when integration Node.js with certain types or business system or data? I don't think so. It's the question, are there any complaints or regulations that need to be addressed when integrating Node.js with certain types of business system or data? I don't think so. I guess it depends on the team. It depends on the goal. And it depends on what are you going to do. If I guess you can use the same approach for the different types of business system, but it depends on the situation. If you need to parse a lot of data, I mean, if there are a lot of data simultaneously, you should think about the quiz. I mean, you should control each request and each response. It will be the easier. It will be more correct, I would say. Yeah, but you can use any frameworks that we talked about today. Therefore, yeah. I have found the multiple issue with the searching for the good examples of Node.js documentation and approach of using it. Like there are a lot of approaches how to use it, architecture, examples, and so on. But initially for me, it's too complicated, even with Express. Any best practice? Yes, I guess documentation of Express, original documentation of Express is not easy for understanding, but you can find a lot of example already existed projects. And you, for instance, if you are going to use Nest.js, there are a lot of examples within the documentation, and you can try to find some chunk of information in the another resources. I mean, you can just try to read regarding the decorators, because it will be, there are the more information in the internet, in the Google, than in the documentation. There are a lot of examples. I don't think so that's it's difficult to find some correct information for it. But yes, I agree with you that it's a little bit difficult if you are trying to set up some projects firstly, yeah, but I guess obviously there are a lot of books for that's related to Express. Yeah, that's it. It's a good idea to use Fastify. Yes, it's a good idea to use Fastify. It depends on the situation. I guess it's the more easier than Express, but yes, it depends on which project are you going to set up. If it is a small project and you're going and you don't have a lot of time and you would like to set up it quickly, it's a good approach as well. Feel free to ask. Yes, and keep in mind that you please don't use Node.js for parsing a huge files. Correct me if I'm wrong. If we will have a heavy SQL query, our server will be hanged. Yes, I guess we should use some quiz for it, because it is not a good approach to use Node.js for direct request, and you can create some cache for it, but long waiting for answer is not a good for Node.js, because there are restricted workers, and each workers, if each workers will wait for answer for a long time, it's not a good for Node.js. So it is better to use it for the some async communication. I think yes, but rather would be better to use some I mean, it would be better to cache some data or create some separate application for making the cache, and after that get the cached data. Yeah, I know it's one of idea how we can solve our problem. But yes, async communication, yeah. Any question? Maybe I can share some additional information with you. Feel free to ask, because I try to explain everything by simple words. Yes, as I talked before, Node.js is the multi-thread, because Node.js use libuv. Libuv was created with C++, and there is a kernel in the C++. And kernel provides for us multi-threads. Yeah, but we cannot use them for the long request. And moreover, there are phases such as we can parse request simultaneously. I mean, the original package can parse separately. Our packages can parse separately. Timeout we can parse separately. Yeah, there are phases as well. But it is more difficult for understanding, therefore I skipped it. So if you don't have a question, I guess we can finish. So I can say thank you very much for attention. I really appreciate it. See you soon. Bye-bye.